400 CCTV cameras monitor entrances, corridors, school, safety isn't an option. It's a promise, deeply woven into every corner of our campus. Over 400 CCTV cameras monitor entrances, corridors, washrooms, everywhere. Trained operators watch round the clock. Nothing goes unseen. Fire safety? We're prepared. With smoke detectors, extinguishers, PA systems, and quarterly disaster drills. With two fully air conditioned infirmaries and qualified doctors and nurses, your child's health is in caring hands. Every school bus follows Supreme Court guidelines, with a lady guard and a maid on board. Strict entry protocols ensure that no one enters without authentication. Even our water is RO purified and tested bi-weekly by certified labs. And while we protect our students, we also protect the planet through solar energy and rainwater harvesting. From toughened glass corridors to grilled perimeters, every step your child takes is secure. At the Khaitan School, safety isn't just a priority, it's our responsibility. And we take that responsibility seriously.
Okay, can everybody see me and hear me clearly? Because I think there is an audio issue here. Can somebody see me and hear me clearly? Can we just help me out? Advika, Anaya, Mohan, Sheetal, can you guys see me and hear me clearly? Because I think there's definitely some. Okay, you can see me and hear me clearly? Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much. How is everybody doing today? Lovely, lovely. How is everybody doing today? Are we doing great? Are we excited? Let me know in the chat box. How are you feeling today? What's going on in your space? Am I clearly visible? I think there is some issue with the camera. Okay. Am I clearly visible, guys? I think, I don't know. Today there is definitely some issue here. Okay. I'm going to just set this up because I think there is some problem somewhere. Just give me a minute. Okay. Because I'm trying to now share my screen and It's not allowing me to do that. Sorry for the delay, but I think there's definitely some issue somewhere. Okay, I'm going to try this one more time, okay? I'm going to be sharing my screen. And let's see if you can see this. Can you guys see any PPT right now? Is a PowerPoint presentation visible to you? Because there's definitely. Okay, I think now we're getting a little sorted here. Now I can see the PPT. Can everybody see it? No, you cannot see it. Oh man. Yes. Thank you so much, Mukeshji. Okay. Superb. How is everybody doing today? Let me know in the chat box by saying I am doing great, excited, curious. You're looking forward to know what is going to be happening today, right? No problem. It's going to be visible in a minute. Just, it's okay. Be here with me. Everything will work out, right? So you're seeing me and you're seeing this presentation, and I'm glad that it's starting, right? I just think that maybe the internet is slow today. Anyways, we're going to make the most of our time together today. My name is Dr. Priyanka Tibrewal. I'm from Mumbai. For those of you who have attended our sessions in the past, thank you for being here again. For those of you who are new, warm welcome to the next 1 hour that me and you are going to be sharing this space, talking, chatting, understanding what is really happening in the world of our child. What is the heartbeat of our kids' worlds today? Everything to do with screens, gaming, social media addiction. I think this is one of the most important topics to talk about, one of the most difficult challenges in today's day and age. And I'm glad that you have taken out your time on a Saturday morning to be here for yourself and your child, right? So we're going to be covering some important elements. I like to go to the core of the issue. So I'm going to try and make sure that I educate you, I make you aware, but also get to the core of what is happening, why it's happening. So we are not scared of it anymore, right? We are living in a world of technology, and this world is only going to grow bigger and bigger. So we cannot escape it, but we can definitely build awareness. We can be guided. We can be smart parents to use smart technology, right? Are we ready for that? Type ready in the chat box. Let's see some interaction. I want to see ready in the chat box. Everybody give me a ready in the chat box so I know that you are ready. So a little bit about me. My name is Dr. Priyanka Tibrewal, and I'm from Mumbai. I've been working in this space with parents, with women, with mothers for the past couple of years, working with over thousands of people till date, helping them, helping their kids become confident, connected, secure individuals. Right? Super ready. Amazing. Okay, Manasvi, you're just going to have to help me here because I am really having a problem here with the screen. So, what is social media? Social media is any digital platform or app that allows people to create, to share, or to interact with content and with people publicly or privately, which basically means everything you are doing on your phone from any app, any Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, WhatsApp, all of that refers to social media, right? What all of that even YouTube, Pinterest, all of this is social media because it is a mode to interact with people, whether privately or publicly, right? Now let us understand the reality for a minute, right? Our children are spending almost a full working day every single day. For them, it is not entertainment. The point of social media was to bring the world closer together, right? It was also a source of great entertainment, but for our children, it has become their identity, right? It has become a sense of belonging. It's like a second home for them at times. It has become the best method to communicate fast, easily, without having to do human interaction. So it's really not only a technology issue, it's not a gadget issue, it's more than that. It is an emotional issue. And it's very important for us to understand this for a moment, that what is the emotional issue here, right? What is the emotional issue? We as humans, we have two basic needs. The first need is to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel noticed. That is the first need. The second need is to feel safe. Right? These are the two human needs that we have had from time immemorial. From the time we were in caves till the time we are now, from a small baby to an old man, we always have this feeling that, am I safe? When I'm safe, then my mind is working better. If I'm safe, then the second thing I need to feel loved and noticed. When my heart feels okay, that is the time when my mind functions the best. Now, most children today are actually struggling with not feeling safe and not feeling loved. Now, some of you may be thinking we live in an age where, we are giving maximum safety, we are taking maximum care of them, we are doing everything, right? Then how do they still have this problem? Right? And this is exactly where social media tech giants, the people sitting in the Silicon Valley and in the different pockets of the US and even India now, are encashing upon human emotional needs. Now, this is very important to understand. They are encashing upon human emotional needs. मतलब as humans, हमारी एक need है. एंड उस नीड को क्योंकि दुनिया पूरा नहीं कर रही है, फैमिली में पूरा नहीं हो रहा है, social media is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. They're evolving their technology bigger and bigger to encash on the need. Now, before we talk about how do I fulfill the need, let's understand what are the dangers, right? What are the dangers? Now, for some reason, I have a feeling that again there is some problem in the PPT, right? So we've already talked about this. Now let's talk about what are the dangers. Now there are external dangers and internal dangers. Let's talk about both of them. What are external dangers? External dangers are cyberbullying हो सकता है, financial fraud हो सकता है, age inappropriate content देख सकते हैं आपके बच्चे. There are even sexual predators, cyber predators that come through all these different kinds of apps like your Snapchat, House Party, Omegle, even TikTok, Instagram at times. So this is one kind of danger that we have to make sure our kids are safe in the online environment. That means they are not safe. हमें लगता है वो घर पे है तो safe है. They are actually most unsafe because they are actually not at home. None of us are at home anymore. पहले हम घर में आके दरवाजा बंद करते थे. We used to feel safe. Now we are constantly in a world surrounded by unknown people we don't know what the intention is. We cannot even know what the intention is. So we are basically living with constant stress कि हमारा कौन सा information leak होने वाला है, कौन हमें देख रहा है, who is following us on social media, what could be the intention, and it's on and on. So it is like a stress we're living with. What is the internal stress? Internal stress is that when children, because their brains are not fully developed, are going through this, they get into what we call comparison stress. Comparison stress means they look at others and then they start looking at themselves. She's so much more beautiful than me. She's so much skinnier than me. He has so many more followers than me. So they get into a false body image problem. जो है भी नहीं, but क्योंकि उनको बाहर दिख रहा है, इसीलिए वो हो रहा है. Their self-worth goes down. Anxiety goes up. Sleep gets disturbed because all night they're scrolling or they're thinking if they're not scrolling. And because their heart and their body is trying to figure out, oh, I'm not enough, I don't feel safe, I don't feel love, brain cannot function properly. That leads to attention disorders, lack of focus, hyperactivity, fidgetiness, drop in grades at times, unable to stay away from social media, right? How many of you have experienced some form of this or are noticing this in your children right now? How many of you have experienced some form of this or are noticing this in your children right now? Type me in the chat box. Type me in the chat box. Just give me a minute, sorry. Come on, I want to see the chat box because that's the only way I will know that we are able to interact. Type me in the chat box if you are experiencing this. So let's do a quiz to find out, is your child really addicted? How many of us are ready for the quiz? Are we ready for the quiz? Think so. I'm seeing it. So let's find out exactly what is happening. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I want you to write, give yourself a score: 0 for never, 1 for sometimes, 2 for always. Simple. Kabhi nahi hota to 0. Kabhi kabhi hota hai to 1. And if it's always there, you're seeing it all the time, it's a 2. And at the end, we're going to total it. Remember, this is for your child. Right? First question. My child checks their phone repeatedly, even if there are no notifications. So 0, my child never checks the phone. 1, sometimes. 2, always. Now this will apply more to children who have their own phones. Suppose you have a younger child and they don't have their phone, at least you should know what is coming your way. Right? Second question. My child worries about likes, comments, or how many followers they have. Again, 0, 1, or 2. Third, my child's mood depends upon what happens online, right? If they're getting attention, they're very happy. If they're ignored, if there is some negative comment, they're very irritable. Next one, my child loses track of time while scrolling and keeps saying, just give me 5 more minutes. I'm coming, pakka, 5 more minutes. 0, 1, or 2. Hamesha hota hai. My child prefers online friends or gaming or chatting over spending time offline. They're more happy doing that. They're always trying to figure out, how do I be on my screen, on my gadget chatting, rather than being face to face with somebody. 0, 1, or 2. My child is staying up late using social media, or they're getting up in the middle of the night to check the chat, the WhatsApp, or the notification. Next one, my child hides the screen, deletes the history, or gets defensive when, as a parent, I ask them about their online activity. So you will notice that they don't like it. They get very fidgety. Ya to delete karenge. Ya they'll say, no, no, I'm not doing anything. How can you ask me this? How can you ask me that? Right? Next one, my child compares themselves to others when they see pictures of other people, on Instagram stories, and they start to feel bad about themselves. Or they feel less, I'm not so good. I don't have so many fans. This person is so much better than me. You hear that conversation. Next one, my child finds it hard to focus on studies, or the grades have actually dropped because they're so distracted. I'm actually noticing the grades have dropped. And last question, without access to any device, social media, any WhatsApp, my child becomes restless, bored, or irritable. So I gave you 10 questions and I asked you to give yourself a number, right? Now I want you to total up your score and share it with me in the chat. Total of the score and share it. Total the score from the 10 questions. It's going to be somewhere between 5 and 20. Total of the score for all 10. हर एक क्वेश्चन का 2 points था ना maximum. 10 questions. The maximum score will be 20. Total of the score from all 10 questions and share your answers. So if somebody is saying 0, that means for all you must have given yourself 0 or your child 0. That's the only way you can get 0. What about everybody else? I saw a lot of 1s and 2s in the chat box. Let's see the scores. 10. Okay, thank you for sharing. So let me decode the score for you, right? If your score is between 0 and 10, it means that your child relatively has a decent balance. Your child relatively has a decent balance. They're using it, but they still have some control over themselves. They are aware of what they're doing. If your score is between 11 and 14, you're in a caution zone already. Your child might be using screens for emotional comfort, validation, having, some connect. That's probably leading them to use more and more and more. If your score is between 15 and 20, you're in the red zone. There is a huge risk of dependency where the child may be experiencing screen addiction, poor self esteem, even poor sleep. So you have to really take this seriously, right? Now let's understand what is the emotional need. Why is my child doing this? Or even if they're not doing it today, it's very important for you to know aage kya aane wala hai, because this is happening with maximum teenagers. What is the emotional need? Why do we want to go again? Even as adults, why do we want to go? There are 5 emotional needs. First one is connection, right? I want to feel that I am connected to somebody because our homes are smaller. Children are alone a lot of the times or just with nannies. Both parents are working and they feel very lonely. So, connection. Second need, recognition. That somebody, when they liked my comment, when they responded to my comment, I feel that somebody noticed me. क्योंकि घर पे टिपिकली हम खाली उनको इंस्ट्रक्शंस दे रहे हैं, ये हो गया वो हो गया वो हो गया. We are not giving the time to look at them, to notice them, to acknowledge them. So they miss a fundamental need of recognition. Third, escape. Lot of times, even as adults, when I am going through a difficult phase, what will I do? Doom scrolling. I'll suddenly open up the chat and just try to do something to escape the reality. क्योंकि मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा, how do I deal with it? I feel emotionally incapable. Next, control. Everybody wants to have control. So when I am clicking on a button, when I am playing a game and I'm winning, I feel I have control, because a lot of times children feel I have no control over my life. So they are trying to find the control through this. Last, belonging, right? They feel I have a space here. I have my own set of online friends here. They value me. Offline to mere friends hai nahi, to yahan pe hai, right? Which means that my child is going again and again to screen because they have developed an artificial or a virtual home over there that makes them feel all of these things जो actually real life में होना चाहिए था, जो नहीं हो रहा है, right? The goal is not to remove the device. Problem device की नहीं है, device उसको amplify कर रहा है. Problem है underlying need की. What is the need below my child again and again and again going to the device? I need to work on that. And I've had a very personal experience with this. I'll share the story of two of my clients. There was one of my clients from Guwahati. She had two kids, 10-year-old and 6-year-old. And she came to me saying, my elder one is constantly on the iPad and it's getting very difficult. Usse uska aggression बढ़ रहा है, पढ़ाई में मन कम लग रहा है, number कम हो रहे, he's fighting with his sister also more. And when I tapped into her lifestyle, she said, yeah, for the past 6 months, I've suddenly taken up a lot of work. So I'm not at home a lot of the time. He's not used to that. He doesn't like it. So because he was missing that sense of connection from his mother, he resorted to screen. Screen led to the aggression. Aggression came out on the sister. Another one of my clients, she and her husband were having major marital issues at home. The whole home environment was always full of conflicts. They had a 12-year-old son, right? What did the 12-year-old son do to escape that situation? He was always in his room on the screen because he didn't want to pay attention to what was happening. It was affecting him so much. He was so emotionally sensitive. He was thinking, how do I just run away from this? At least screen is giving me a different home. मतलब एक दूसरी reality में मैं जी रहा हूँ and I'm just here physically. And this is not only these two, it is happening in many, many, many places. You will see all around. Now if you're going in any public transport, everybody is only stuck to social media. You're going in any queue, restaurant में भी बैठे हुए, everybody is only stuck. Why? Because आपस में connection खत्म हो गया. Right? Now let us understand how social media giants are playing with these emotions so that you are more and more addicted. This is called the dopamine loop. Right? What is dopamine? Dopamine is the hormone in the brain that makes us feel good. Simple. बहुत सारे hormones हैं. Hormone in the brain that makes you feel good is called dopamine. Normal life में without phones and everything, ये कब आता था? It happened when, you achieved a goal, you went out and you played football, you went in the sunlight early in the morning, or you went to a restaurant कभी हफ्ते में एक बार and, you enjoyed your favorite pani puri. All of a sudden, you got this thing and you felt really good, right? Dopamine was not something that was supposed to be released every single minute. What have social media giants done? They have made the technology in such a way that every time you click a button and it pops up an emoji, it gives you points, it gives you something to shop for, suddenly dopamine release ho raha hai. Every time you click a button, something happens, dopamine release ho raha hai. which means it has trained our brain to want to feel good all the time and instantly. मतलब वेट नहीं करना है, गेम का रिजल्ट कब आएगा फुटबॉल में वो नहीं देखना है, ऑनलाइन एफसी वो खेलना है, एफसी मोबाइल, इंस्टेंट रिजल्ट आएगा, आई विल फील गुड, ओ आई हैव डन समथिंग, ओ आई हैव वन समथिंग. So they have put us in this loop. And what they are doing is they are training our children's brains to want instant gratification. Instant matlab wait nahi karna hai, turant acha lagna chahiye. If you see all the cartoons, even for young babies, your Coco Melon, why are studies coming out saying it is not good? Because itna fast change ho raha hai, itna fast they're making the child feel good, then sad, then good, then sad, then good, then sad. Child constantly wants to feel good and child does not like to wait. Now, can I ask you something? In real life, do you think to feel good you will have to wait? मतलब आप मेहनत करोगे, आप वेट करोगे, रात को खाना बनेगा, तो खाना आएगा, तो you will feel good, right? So you have to wait कि अच्छा कल वो मिलेगा, एक हफ्ते बाद वो मिलेगा. And then you waited, why? Because you wanted to feel good, you wanted the dopamine release. Now, children don't care and they don't wait. Why? Because you're getting the dopamine release anyways. You're getting the dopamine release anyways. See, somebody just commented, my child plays FC Mobile. There is no problem in playing. The problem is how long you're playing and how addicted you are to it. So we're going to talk about that. Don't worry. Right? So what is happening in the child's brain? Now, why are children more susceptible to this? Because unka brain pura develop nahi hua hai. The brain is actually developing till the age of 25. Especially the impulse control center. वो जो center होता है बच्चे के brain में that tells them, I know you want this, but you cannot get it. You have to resist. व्रत कर लो, रुको. That is called the impulse control center. It takes 25 years for it to fully develop. Now, when our 12 months, 6 months, 5-year children are exposed to these things, they don't know how to control themselves. उनका brain का वो part develop ही नहीं हुआ है. So what has been seen with young children who are constantly swiping iPad, phone, TV is actually, if you see on the screen, the slide, it shows the different brain waves, right? Alpha, beta, theta, delta. Now, what they have noticed is typically alert state mein beta wave chahiye brain ko to learn something, to engage, right? But what happens when you're constantly on these devices is theta waves become stronger, which means that there is a less alert slate. These are the slower waves that only come when you are in deep relaxation or in sleep. But ye jagte hue mein bhi ho raha hai. This coming in an awake state, which means my child is less alert all the time. My child's cognitive ability is reduced. Uska expression, interaction बहुत slow hai. Why are we seeing a sudden rise in autism? Why are we seeing a sudden rise in slow learning disabilities? Why are we seeing that? It has a lot to do with this phenomenon. Because the way the screens are designed, इतना fast है कि बच्चे का brain cope नहीं कर पा रहा है, and automatically through some certain studies they've noticed कि brain wave ही change होना शुरू हो जाता है. You know, one of my very close friends, she was in medical college with me. Together we studied and everything. Now she had a son about 5 years ago. And we've been in touch ever since. And at the time that she had her son, after the maternity leave, she had to go back to work. In her home, there was only a maid and a mother-in-law who was very old. So what they used to do with the child, so that the child is busy all day, they used to have him in front of the television 10 hours a day. 10 hours a day, child is in front of a television, right? And mother used to come home thinking, मेरा बच्चा छोटा है अभी तो बोल ही नहीं सकता, अभी बात कैसे करेगा, अभी कैसे समझाएगा. एक साल निकल गया. By the time the child was 18 months old, the child was not talking. The mother got worried. Why is my child not talking? Then she got him tested. And he was diagnosed with a slow learning disability, which was connected to the fact that he had not been exposed to human expressions, human emotion, right? And uska mind blank ho chuka tha by seeing screen. After that, he had to go through behavioral therapy, occupational therapy. It took her 2 years to get him to a space where he started to speak like normal children speak. And that also not at his age, but at least development had started. Which means कि screen is impacting your brain structure. Structurally ही बदल रहा है, especially बच्चों में तो बहुत ज़्यादा studies आ चुकी हैं that show कि structural changes हो रहे हैं brain में. These are few articles, they'll pop up on screen that show that Excessive screen at any age, but especially in children, lead to developmental delays because the brain structure changes. आपके पूरा ब्रेन का स्ट्रक्चर बदल रहा है. Kids who are on video games, all these teenagers who constant playing 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hour video game जो बच्चे खेल रहे हैं. I don't know if you can see the slide, it will pop up. It's going to show you that different parts of the brain should be active at different times of the day, right? These kids, it is not active. And what happens is there are different layers of the brain. जो top layer है, that is the area of memory and focus, वो पतला होना शुरू हो गया. Right? पतला होना शुरू हो गया है. The brain is not turning on as much as it should be. These are real studies done in the best, like Harvard and Johns Hopkins Medical School recently, because they are noticing suddenly, as soon as my child has got into this, within 1 year, attention span कम हो गया, irritability बढ़ गई है, hyperactivity, like they need to do something all the time. But if they are asked to sit and think deeply, they're not able to do it. Right? So what do we need to do? Now we've understood this is the reality, right? We cannot escape it. We cannot say कि तुम्हारे पास कभी phone नहीं आएगा, तुम कभी social media पे नहीं आओगे. These are things that are essential. But how do we need to now manage this? Manage it until my child is mature enough to manage it himself. That is what I call be a smart parent, right? Be a smart parent. You're using smartphones, you're dealing with smart technology. You have to become smarter than the technology for your child, right? Everybody type SP for smart parent in the chat box. I want to see some interaction before we move on. Now we're going to be talking about what to do, right? Type SP in the chat box. Everybody type SP in the chat box. So you're ready to learn how do I become a smart parent and how do I educate myself? कि I have to be an aware parent. I cannot say कि अरे मुझे पता नहीं है, मुझे आता नहीं है, मेरे को टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं आती, आना सीखना ही है. If I am doing so much for my child, I need to learn this, period. Right? I learned how to use a smartphone. I learned how to be on Instagram. I learned how to be on WhatsApp. I can learn to do this. Right? Now, the first thing that we need to understand is what are certain apps? इनके नाम लिख लो. These are certain risky apps. Why risky? Because they have certain settings that can allow anonymous and strangers to come and talk to the child even on video camera. So you need to know कि कौन सी apps हैं. Is my child on house party? Is my child on Snapchat? Because Snapchat, there is a feature that once you send the picture, you cannot see it. Once you send the chat, you cannot see it. You can also, kids are being pressurized to send nude pictures. They are being emotionally blackmailed and bullied to send different kinds of images about themselves. Right? So these are certain apps, Yik Yak, Omegle, Discord, Whisper, House Party, Snapchat, jahan pe anonymous chats are allowed. So please be very careful. If I were in your place, I would say we are not allowing you to use these apps. Do not give permission on the phone to download the app. Right? That is the easiest and best way. There are many other ways for your child to be entertained on social media. These apps have no relevance in their life, honestly speaking. How do you know your child is already being impacted? Are you noticing withdrawal symptoms? अरे app नहीं है, खोला नहीं आधे घंटे से, अरे कुछ हो रहा है. Are you noticing when a child suddenly is, withdrawn to the room, emotionally वो disturbed लग रहा है, पता नहीं लग रहा क्यों disturb हो रहा है. High chances are something has happened on one of the apps, but they're scared. They're very afraid, क्या होगा? What is going to happen if that person comes to know about me? Mood swings. Child is very angry without any reason. High chances that has something to do with the app. So it is a silent trauma, जिसको हम cyberbullying भी बोलते हैं, because it impacts the self-worth of the child. It impacts the self-worth of the child. Right? It is somebody who is managing my PPT. Okay, so I will tell you when to change the slide. Right? So now what do we do about it? हमें पता लग गया कि ये problem है. हमें पता लग गया online भी ये सब चल रहा है. Now what do you need to do? You need to set up alternatives. What are the kind of alternatives we have? One are offline alternatives. One are online alternatives. Let's first talk about online alternatives. ऑनलाइन ऑल्टरनेटिव के बाद का मतलब है यू हैव टू सेट अप पेरेंटल कंट्रोल. You have to set up parental control, but you have to do it consciously, right? Which means आपके हर फोन में, every smartphone today, whether yours, whether your child, every iPad, every desktop, every Microsoft has an option for you to go and set up what they call a parent account and a child account. Can child account be set up for teenagers? Yes, they are still children, right? What if the child doesn't agree to uninstall the app even if they have it installed? I feel at sometimes you have to be the parent rather than the friend, right? At sometimes you have to sit with the child, you have to make the child aware and educate the child that these are the repercussions of a particular app. The first thing you need to do is get a buy-in from the child that, oh, I want to know what's happening on this app. Before uninstalling the app, connect with the child. So you know कि उनकी दुनिया में क्या चल रहा है. Be interested. What are they seeing? What are they watching? What is really going on? Second thing, figure out how much time is my child spending on the app. The first thing to do is reduce the amount of time on the app. How do you do that? Set up parental control. I want you to write the names of all of these. Unfortunately, due to time restraints, I can't show you exactly कैसे use करना. They are very simple. If you are an Apple user, Apple Screen Time या Family Sharing के नाम से भी आता है. In your phone, you activate it, you add your child's name and their email ID of Apple, वो automatically link हो जाएगा. Your wife, anybody who you want, all the devices can be linked. You have an option of having a morning wake up time and a bedtime for the phone. सेम फॉर एवरी सिंगल ऐप कि अगर आपको इंस्टाग्राम रात को 8 बजे बंद करना है, यू कैन से इंस्टाग्राम ऑटो शट ऑफ अंटिल आई गिव अप्रूवल. You have an option of how much time can my child be on WhatsApp, how much time can my child be on YouTube. You can say 30 minutes अगर दिन में YouTube देख लिया automatically लॉक हो जाना चाहिए. And only when you will give approval from your phone and put a password, वो खुलेगा. Right? Yes, some of you may be thinking, अरे एक और काम करना पड़ेगा. Imagine the side effect of not doing it. Because I told you, बच्चे की गलती नहीं है. The apps are designed in a way, social media are designed in a way to pull you in, to make you feel कि मुझे और time लगाना है, और अच्छा feel करना है, right? So you will have to do this. You will have to do this to protect your child's brain development, behavior development, emotional development, and their safety. So let us be educated, aware parents. Let us start using the applications we have. Google user, agar aap ho Android user, you have Google Family Link, right? What is Bark? So either Google or Apple, most of us are users, use one of these to set up your basic parental controls. Even if you pick up your phone right now, if you go to settings and you go to digital well-being, you will be able to see कितना time आप सुबह से लगा चुके हो on which apps on your phone. You can notice it. You can put up controls for your own self. If you're noticing suddenly आप पूरा दिन WhatsApp पे हो, you can put up a control for yourself. Once you set up either one of these two, then you add these other apps along with it. Bark. Bark is what? Bark is basically a tracker. What is the conversation that my child is having with somebody else? क्या वो भेज रहा है, क्या आ रहा है? Is there any sign of cyberbullying, depression, inappropriate language? Bark is going to give you the signal. So it is like an add-on software, right? What is YouTube Kids? YouTube Kids is where instead of regular YouTube, you allow the child to use YouTube Kids, which filters what kind of YouTube videos can my child see. Automatically age inappropriate video nahi dikhayega, because the biggest risk of internet today is suddenly the child is researching something for a school project, suddenly a porn video pops up. The child doesn't know. The child suddenly clicks on it and click karte because the child doesn't know what it is, right? So suddenly these things come up. So that's why you have to put controls. YouTube Kids agar aap download karoge, automatically 90% of these problems reduce because the child will only be able to access a certain level of content, right? There are multiple controls. There are multiple apps. You can do your own research. But what I recommend is एक basic app आज की आज आप download कर लो if you have not, right? Only for your and your child's sanity and safety, right? Will there be resistance? Yes. Do I still get resistance? I have a 14-year-old daughter, yes. But has my daughter adapted to it? Is she more aware? If she knows I'm only allowed WhatsApp this much time in the day, is she going to use it more carefully? Yes. Because she knows that when she comes to me at 8 p.m. saying, Arey, mummy, my WhatsApp time is over, mummy is not going to allow unless there's something critical. That why did I not use my time responsibly? So I'm basically also training her brain to be aware. So I don't get engrossed in it so much कि मुझे पता ही नहीं मेरा time कहाँ गया. I'm also training her brain to be responsible with the use of technology. That I have technology, I have it for a reason. Technology is not there to fill my emotional gaps in life. Technology is there for education. It is there for entertainment. It is there for enrichment, and that is it. This was the purpose of technology. कुछ नया सीखना है, I have to build some skills or I have to get entertained. It was not to fill my bored time. It was not to fill the time कि मेरे पास और कुछ नहीं है करने को. That is why we see creativity dip in children today. Anytime they are bored, rather than thinking, what can I create? How can I solve a problem? How can I build something? They go mindlessly to screen. If your child needs to thrive in the 21st century, the one skill they will need is creativity. Creativity to come up with new things. Creativity to solve problems. It will not come from screen. It has to come from what I call brain GPT, not chat GPT. कि ऐसा आप solution निकालो जो दुनिया के पास नहीं है. Right? वो कहाँ से आएगा? It will come from your brain because your brain has the wisdom, you're not using it. Right? So what are some basic screen time rules that I recommend to everybody? Whether your child has a phone, doesn't have a phone, but आपके घर में कोई तो device होने वाला. Right? So we're going to come to that question, Anu. Very good question. What are some basic boundaries? Bathroom may no devices allowed. You'll be surprised at what is happening with your children when they take the devices in the bathroom, how much time they're spending in the bathroom and what all they're doing, and then they're deleting the history. No devices allowed in the bathroom at all. What is the bedtime of technology? Maximum 9 p.m. के बाद कोई भी device हम नहीं use करने वाले हैं because your brain needs time to calm down before it sleeps. नहीं तो your sleep gets affected. When you are having meals, lunch time, dinner time, ideally no screen. अगर आप टीवी देख रहे हो तो गैजेट तो 100% नहीं होना चाहिए. टीवी फिर भी आप डिस्टेंस में फैमिली के साथ देख रहे हो. You should not be on your own gadgets. वैसे ही आपका कनेक्शन नहीं रहेगा. अगर आपका बच्चा वीडियो गेम खेल रहा है, they have to clearly know on what day, for how long, with whom and what kind of games. Right? So please do not be the parent who says, अरे मुझे तो पता ही नहीं क्या कर रहे हैं. पता लगाओ, पता करो, उनके साथ बैठ के खेलो, देखो उसमें क्या हो रहा है, कैसे वो अननोन स्ट्रेंजर्स को अपने साथ खेलने दे रहे हैं कि नहीं दे रहे हैं, कौन खेल रहा है, कौन सा ऐसा पॉइंट है उस गेम में कि दे फील अरे मेरे को 5 मिनट और खेलना है, अरे मेरे को आधा घंटा और खेलना है. बी अवेयर. Do not be the parent who says मुझे नहीं पता ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, तुम बंद कर दो. Child will not shut it off like that. You have to be involved with the child. The child has to feel मेरी मम्मी को समझ आ रहा है, my dad knows, but still they are telling me. Still we are coming to a place where I say, okay, I will play on Fridays for 1 hour, right? All the passwords are to be shared. Any password your child has on any phone, iPad, desktop, social media app has to be shared with you. There is nothing called privacy for the child, right? Nothing at all. Even if your child is earning, but if he is below the age of 18, there is nothing called privacy. You are doing it because you are responsible. You are raising this child. You are taking care of the well-being of the child. You must have the password. Please make it a rule. If you have not given your child any access, but you are about to, the first day itself, password is आपके पास आ जाने चाहिए. Anytime the password is changed, the first person to be informed is you. Right? If this is not happening, that means the problem is from your end. The problem is not the child, the problem is from your end. You can connect all the devices of your house via these monitoring apps. तो अगर बच्चा फोन पे, आईपैड पे, डेस्कटॉप पे, तीनों का आपको पता लग सकता है कितना टाइम मेरे बच्चे ने कहाँ लगाया और कितना मुझे देना है. Right? Social media app rules have to be very clear. At this age, you will get Instagram. लेकिन जब आपको Instagram मिलेगा, it has to be a private account. You cannot allow unknown people to join. As a parent, you will be able to access the child's account, right? And you will only get Instagram for 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. Children are very adaptable. 2 दिन के अंदर अंदर बच्चे अडेप्ट कर लेते हैं. Yes, they will have tantrums for 2 days, but that's okay, right? Co-watch when possible. Be engaged. अगर मेरा बच्चा Netflix पे कोई सीरीज देख रहा है, I should know क्या देख रहा है वो. I should watch with them. I should have a conversation. Why are you watching this? What is interesting about this? What does it make you think? Right? Be involved in their life. If you want the child to be involved in your life, you have to be involved in their life. चाहे उनकी लाइफ कहीं पे भी हो, जापान में चल रही है वर्चुअली, बी इन्वॉल्व. मेटावर्स पे चल रही है, बी इन्वॉल्व. ओनली देन द चाइल्ड विल बी इन्वॉल्व इन योर लाइफ विच इज स्टिल ऑफलाइन रियल लाइफ. तो अगर आपको आपके बच्चे को ऑफलाइन भी लाना है, आपको स्टार्ट ऑनलाइन से करना पड़ेगा. राइट. लास्ट, लीड विथ एग्जाम्पल, विच मीन्स if you're telling the child खाने के टाइम मोबाइल अलाउड नहीं है, make sure you're the first one to put the mobile aside. चाहे आपकी कितनी भी important meeting हो, nothing is more important than the child's health. Right? If you're telling the child at night we need half an hour before we sleep without gadgets, make sure you're doing that. You know, as humans, we figure out ways. We know कि अरे 9:30 के बाद मोबाइल नहीं, मैं 9 बजे के पहले मेरा काम फिनिश कर लूंगा. Right now the problem is 24 घंटे व्हाट्सएप चलता है, एंड यू थिंक दैट पीपल एक्सपेक्ट कि तुम इमीडिएटली जवाब दोगे. यू डोंट नीड टू बी सो इमीडिएट. नथिंग इज गोइंग टू हैपन इफ यू डोंट गिव इमीडिएट रिस्पॉन्स. राइट. पहले एक हफ्ते तक जवाब नहीं आता था. राइट. व्हेन देयर वाज ओनली फोन, नो व्हाट्सएप वाज आल्सो देयर. लाइफ वाज मच बेटर. So this is your problem that you are telling yourself, no, because I'm working, I have to give immediate reply to email. Why? I don't have to give immediate reply to email. Nowhere in the world people are giving immediate reply to email. It is only in working hours. So you have to be very clear that this is allowed and this is not allowed. Do you know that the founders of technology in Silicon Valley do not give their child technology till the age of 12? देते ही नहीं है, because they are the ones, they say that we know कि हम इसमें कितने addictive tools डाल रहे हैं. We don't want our child to get addicted. Just imagine. This is happening in their homes. And we are getting stuck in that because we feel हमारी तो पूरी life खाली इसी पे चल रही है. That's not the truth. Right? Now somebody was asking me, what do we do with school sharing information through WhatsApp groups even at night? First thing, inform your school that my child is not allowed any new information after 7 p.m. We have actually done this in our school because we used to get random emails at 2 a.m. सुबह 6 बजे ये लेके जाना है school. We as parent community, we went to the school and said, you know what, whatever needs to be communicated has to be done before 6 p.m. After that, we are not allowed. We're not allowing our children to be on screens. They changed the way. Right? Second thing, make sure you are on the school WhatsApp group, right? Because you are more mature. So suppose the child needs to know something, you also have access to that. You can inform the child कि बेटा suddenly this has come and just make sure you do this. बाकी तो सब chatting चलता है. बाकी कुछ information important नहीं होता. It's very rare. Everything is just chatting. And if you look at the chats your kids are doing, they are senseless chats. Senseless in the sense, they don't have a real meaning. What are you doing? How are you doing? Did you study? Did you not study? LOL, CAP, all this is going on. I'm not saying deprive the child. I am saying be aware. One, what is my child doing? Two, how do I make sure they're doing it in the healthiest way? That is it. Right? Once your child develops the mental maturity, they will be able to manage it on their own. Right? Now, second part of giving alternatives is give offline alternatives, which means what? Does your house have a place where there is actually a boredom corner? जहाँ पे easily available है बच्चे को. It's very easy for the child to turn on the TV, right? Remote वहीं रखा रहता है. Is it as easy for the child to go and pick up something and build something? Lego सामने पड़े हैं क्या? Art material सामने है क्या? Book सामने है क्या? And you're going to have to keep changing it around, right? Create a creative corner in the house. So anytime the child also comes to you, Mummy, I'm bored. What do I do? Can I go on YouTube? You can say, first, I want you to go and create something because you want to spark the creativity in the child. They need to create to do it. कोई सुडोकू है क्या, क्रॉसवर्ड है क्या, स्क्रैपबुकिंग मटेरियल है क्या, कोई मैगजीन है क्या जिसमें कोई गेम्स खेलना है. So many things they can do. Right? As parents, we say, मुझे नहीं पता तुम्हें क्या करना है, तुम बस अपना देख लो, टीवी पे नहीं रहना है. Child doesn't know what to do. ब्रेनस्टॉर्म विद द चाइल्ड, मैं क्या क्या कर सकता हूँ, उसका लिस्ट बनाओ, उसका सामान एक जगह पे इकट्ठा करो, मेक अ टाइनी वार्डरोब जहाँ पे इट्स वेरी इजी for the child, right? Will the child still ask for TV? Yes. But will the child then, once you say no, have an alternative? 100%. Second alternative, if you want your child to watch, make sure you give healthier content options. That what do you allow to be watched? You know, some people, they have this rule key, you know, you can only watch like Discovery, National Geographic, few cartoons they allow. So they have already shortlisted what you can watch and what you cannot watch. For my daughter, we have already shortlisted. These are certain shows which are not allowed. Even if her friends are watching it, we don't feel they're appropriate. And she is abiding by it. The conversations come up, yes, all my friends are watching. But we have to get into it's like an ongoing process, right? Third alternative, definitely sports. When your child is engaged in an intense physical activity, the need to do something else when I'm bored reduces naturally. क्योंकि उनका माइंड बहुत हाई लेवल पे फोकस कर रहा होता है एंड दे गेट द किक फ्रॉम द स्पोर्ट, दे आर नॉट लुकिंग फॉर द किक फ्रॉम सोशल मीडिया, दे गेट द नेचुरल हाई, द नेचुरल डोपामिन रिलीज फ्रॉम द स्पोर्ट. सो अगर आपका बच्चा स्पोर्ट्स नहीं खेल रहा है, प्लीज एनकरेज देम टू डू दैट, एनकरेज देम टू डू दैट, राइट? So what can you do when you are bored? You can create a list like this, right? क्या क्या आप कर सकते हो? And you can have all these things readily available for the child, right? When is it that you need to ask for help? Let me just change the slide. 1 minute. Okay, I think I missed the slide. 1 minute. When is it that you need to ask for help? Okay, let's talk about it. If you feel and if you notice कि सारा दिन मेरा बच्चा irritable है, all the time they're angry, they're irritable, they're in a bad mood, chances are it has something to do with device. When else? When there is a sudden decline in the grades or the sleep, chances are you need to ask for help because there is a high level of digital dependency. If you notice कि instead of going and talking to friends, my child is always on screen, right? If you feel suddenly my child feels more secretive, मतलब बात करते करते रुक जा रहे हैं, बता नहीं रहे हैं पूरी बात. If you ever ask them, अरे कुछ नहीं हुआ, अरे ऐसी अरे वैसी, that means somehow the child doesn't feel safe with you, and something is bothering my child. Something is there inside, and if needed, there is no problem in seeking help. There is no problem in going to a professional and say, can you talk to my child and can you find out what to do? Can you help my child de-addict from screen? So your children need digital mentors क्योंकि digital age में हम रह रहे हैं, right? They need digital mentors. So there is no taboo in going and asking for help. There is no taboo at all, right? So what do you need to remember? You need to remember that you have to co-create the rules. You cannot just go, oh, I learned this in the session today, आज से ये rule बन गया घर में. The child is not going to listen to you. साथ में बैठो, समझो, 2-3 दिन लगाओ समझने में, figure out this whole parental control, then sit with the child and say, you know what, I've been noticing this, I'm worried about this, I want to do this for your future. How can we come to a midway कि तुम कर भी रहे हो but खाली उतना ही कर रहे हो जितना acceptable है, right? Second thing, celebrate their wins offline. The reward that you give them for some good achievement, anything they do, please do not make it related to movie, TV, social media, phone. वो तो वैसे भी मिल रहा है. Give them experiences with you, offline experiences. कि we are going to be doing this together. I want your children to start getting the kick in offline again. जो dopamine shot हो रहा है वो offline से आना चाहिए. हम यहाँ घूमने जा रहे हैं, हम साथ में बैठ के ये बातें कर रहे हैं, ये पिकनिक कर रहे हैं, we are baking together, we are cooking together, we are reading jokes together. I want them to come back to the offline world so they realize offline joy lasts longer. Online तो 1 सेकंड का है, offline तो आप कई दिनों तक उसको याद करके हंसोगे. So are you more interesting than the internet? Is it difficult? Yes. Do you have to? 100%. Do you have those stories? कि आपके साथ बैठ के वो स्टोरी सुन रहा है बच्चा और उनको मजा आ रहा है. They're not thinking, "Arey, it's so boring, let me just go back to my chatting." You have to become interesting. Every type BI for be interesting in the chat box. You have to become interesting. Why do they say parenting in the 21st century is very tough? Because of this. Why is it very tough? Because of this problem. Parenting in the 21st century is one of the most challenging. Why? Because you have to now compete with online space when you still have to be more interesting than online, that the child wants to connect with you. How many of you are understanding this? Type me in the chat box. Type me in the chat box. Type me in the chat box. Can I see a me in the chat box? Yes? Okay. Coming to the last few sections. Thank you for sharing. So, some of you who are very active, thank you for being so active. So, what do you need to see? There are 3 R's that you have to keep in mind. You have to recognize what is the need. I showed you the 5 needs. You have to regulate. क्या limits है, क्या होना है, क्या नहीं होना है. And you have to reconnect. Reconnect your child to real life joy and family connection. Be very honest with yourself. बिना स्क्रीन के, बिना डिवाइस के कितना वन ऑन वन टाइम आप लगा रहे हो बच्चे के साथ, उसके अंदर इंटरेस्टेड होके, with your love, with your time, with your presence, how much one on one time are you actually giving to the child? Are you enjoying your child's company या खाली एक टिक कर रहे हो, हाँ मैंने टाइम लगा लिया है, होमवर्क करा दिया है? Please know that is the only way you can protect your child from the dangerous world out there, the world that's going to crush their self esteem and confidence. You have to build it. How? By valuing your child, by noticing your child, by giving them the love and safety that they're craving for, making them feel that they are the twinkle of your eyes. Even if they're a teenager, yes, teenagers need it even more. छोटे बच्चों के साथ हम करते, जैसे जैसे बड़े हो जाते हैं भूल जाते हैं, right? Make them feel that. So even if the world is crushing them, they're sending nasty comments, the child knows I'm truly valuable because my mom believes it. Right? So you're not there as a police to your child. You are there as a mentor to your child. You are there to connect, to understand, to guide your child. At times you need to be the friend, yes, but every time the friend, no. At times you need to be the parent who says, I will set some clear boundaries. I need to set some clear boundaries because it is very important for you and your well being. Right? So that brings us to the end of today's session on social media addiction. I hope you enjoyed the session. Now this floor is open for Q&A. If anyone has any specific questions, make sure you share your questions with me. I'm here for the next 10 minutes or so to answer your questions. I will also be gifting you an opportunity to get on a quick 20-minute one-to-one call with me if you are somebody who wants deeper further assistance. So Manasvi is just going to be sharing that link with all of you. Manasvi, can you please share this link because I am not able to directly join the chat today. There was some technical glitch for sure today. But Manasvi, if you can share that link. So anybody who wants to schedule a private quick consult, you can feel free to do that where we can understand your specific situation and how you can help your child. Thank you so much, Dheeraj. So Manasvi, can you please share the link before everybody exits? Yes. So Manasvi shared the link. It's a Calendly link. You can go to the calendar, find a suitable time, and you can open it up. Right? So let's stop sharing the presentation, please, if possible. And let's open the forum for questions. What are the questions that you have? Any specific challenges that you are facing, specifically with regards to social media, screen? Let's take a couple of minutes and let us do that. Meanwhile, make sure if you do not have parental controls, you educate yourself about it today and you start using them today. It is not about distrusting the child. It is about helping your child become more responsible. Kids are discussing Roblox game in school time. Can we do this less and can teachers be attentive what kids are discussing in class? Okay, so I think Manasvi, you can take this up with the school, right? Private consultation is needed. You just go to the link, find a suitable time, and schedule your call, dear. And just share your main concern so that we can use our time wisely in the call. Yes? Amazing. Any other questions? Ishita, same for you. Just go to the link. Khaitan School Noida के नाम से एक link आया भी आपको. And you just need to schedule. You can find a suitable time in the calendar. My team will reach out to you and they will confirm it in case we need to reschedule it. But एक बार block the time and then we'll figure out a suitable time in the coming week. And let's see what most we can help you out with. Whether it's, a lot of times it is your own insecurity that leads to these problems in the child. So a lot of times when I work with mothers, I realize that you need to first work on your own emotions. You need to work on your own self-worth and confidence. That is going to transfer more to the child. So what I gave you today is an overview of what social media is, what is it doing, and how you can protect your child. But at the core is really the connection that you have with your child and the connection you have with yourself. Lakshmi, go to the link and schedule a call. The connection you have, and please make sure you schedule a call and you attend the call, right? Because a lot of times people schedule it and then they're not available. So if you are scheduling a call, then value both of our time and make sure you are there, right? So Manasvi, a lot of insights for you from parents around school and online. And I know school always does its best, right? It has to be up to date with the world and it has to take care of children's well-being. So they are doing their best and they will take in all your comments and see what and how they can do it, right? Thank you so much, everybody. But I'm still here for a couple of minutes in case anybody has any questions, any comments, anything you feel you want to know about. So whoever needs to schedule a call, please make sure that you do that because this link, and copy the link and find a suitable time. Hi, Tarun, you have a question? Prema says, I'm not able to control my child. Prema, what do you mean by I'm not able to control the child? From using from using technology, I'm assuming, right? Not spending adequate time in studies. The first thing you need to do is clear up the workspace. When your child is studying, the child should not be in front of the gadget, on the side, on another table, somewhere, and you have to have, specific time slots, right? Some children only have 20 to 30 minutes attention span, which means that you need to schedule the child's study time in a way कि 20 से 25 minute के बाद the child gets up, right? He plays 2 hours daily, so you need to put controls, Prema. You know that you can put controls on everything today. Put the control so that the child automatically knows आधे घंटे में ये बंद हो जाएगा. Yes, the child will throw tantrum. Please, can I do this? Please, can I do that? That is the time when your confidence, your self-worth, your sense of security becomes critical. Within 3 days, I can guarantee you that addiction will come down. 3 days. Will you need to sustain it after that? Yes. Right? क्योंकि आपके बच्चे के ब्रेन में एक पैटर्न डेवलप हो गया कि रोज 2 घंटा खेलने से मुझे ऐसा फील होगा. नाउ सडनली वो फीलिंग चला गया. इट्स गोना टेक टाइम फॉर देम टू रिप्लेस दैट कोई और चीज ढूंढने में, राइट? My child is very much attracted towards laptops and gadgets. That is a universal phenomena. Why? Because education is more on devices now, right? So should they be using books and notebooks? I am old school, so I would personally say yes. When you talk about even handwriting and graphology, there is a connection between hand and brain, and it's very important that child writes. But a lot of schools do not advocate that now everything is typing. So I think it's a very personal to personal, kind of a thing that you need to know. How is my child learning the best? If your child is a lot on gadgets for learning, then make sure that you know what is my child learning and what are the other screens open at the same time, if any. which you will also come to know in the parental control app कि क्या क्या sites पे मेरा बच्चा गया है, right? It is natural for them to be attracted. Even we are attracted, right? If you go on Instagram today, आधा घंटा कहाँ जाएगा पता भी नहीं लगेगा, right? The information about digital world is already explained in schools, dear Manisha. Every school always has these cyber sessions for children to make them aware that तुम internet पे हो but इसके ये side effects हैं, so be careful. Yeah, Saurabh, he doesn't sit for long, so you need to work on his focus, on his time management, and you need to understand if this is my child's learning style, how do I adapt the environment for him? You know, some children, their study tables are, you know, they have too many things. समझ नहीं आता, उनका brain हर जगह जाता है. The easiest is math करना है ना, math की book उठाओ, दूसरी table पे जाओ. Don't even be in the same space, your focus will increase. Everything is sent online. So you have to use gadgets. I'm not saying don't use gadgets. Remember in today's session, it was all about how to use gadgets in the best way. We are living in a world where we cannot avoid gadgets. It's just not possible. So we have to accept that we are in a gadgets world and we need to use them in the best way. Right? How can I distract him? Addicted to mobile, Swati, first of all, is mobile even necessary? Second of all, you can set the mobile in a way where only calling is allowed, nothing else is allowed. You don't allow the child to download any apps. ये सब चीज control हो सकती है. It is a simple 10-minute educating yourself, going to the app, locking everything. जब बच्चे के पास कुछ है ही नहीं उस पर करने के लिए तो क्या करेगा? Eventually they will put it down and they will go and do something else. So that is what you need to be aware of, that if my child is misusing it, which is natural because that's the way technology is designed, how can I help my child be responsible so they don't misuse it? Just telling the child is not enough. You have to help them. The controls are there for their brain to be trained. जैसे जैसे वो बड़े होंगे, maturity बढ़ेगी, automatically they will be more aware मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. Right? My child is very good in terms of creativity, always needs YouTube video to watch a reference video. So you can put a control that every day you will get 20 minutes of YouTube. You can see one video. Once the video is off, then you create on your own. Right? So you can control the timings very easily. And I'm telling this to everybody. It is very simple. मैंने आज आपको दो apps बताए ना, Apple and Google. कोई भी एक पे जाओ, उसको setup कर लो आज. When you scroll to that, 10 मिनट अपने आप को दो, you will find the answer over there. सब चीज आप control कर सकते हो. The control is not that you don't trust the child. The control is only to help the child develop the capability to resist the impulse. Remember I said impulse control center is not developed. तो जब बच्चे का impulse control developed ही नहीं है, how will they control it? So this is to help them. Right? It's like आपको हेल्दी खाना खाना है, बट आपके किचन में चारों तरफ चॉकलेट और ये सब पड़ा है. It's so hard. But as soon as you remove the chocolate and chips, या उसको ऊपर के खन में डाल दो, and बाहर आपके baked chips, apple, ये खीरा पड़ा है, salad बना हुआ है, it becomes easier, right? It's the same thing. You have to make the ecosystem easy. You got to make it easy for the child. Don't make it hard. Don't expect कि मेरा बच्चा इतना समझदार होना चाहिए कि वो खुद से ही नहीं करे. Kids are asking for personal mobile phone. Yes, the biggest challenge. It is up to you as a parent. I personally feel before the age of 11 to 12, the child should not have their own phone. If you can delay it even more, that's great. But minimum, उसके पहले तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए. Unless there is some critical reason. If you guys are both working, you need to track the safety of the child. उसके लिए भी there are a lot of calling watches now that give you access to where my child is. It gives the child access to only emergency numbers, but they do not have what they call this gadget. Right? See, we all find our answers, right? Somebody has just shared in the chat, but I found a method. If we know कि हमें क्या करना है, method हम निकाल लेंगे. We are very creative humans. We will find the method. We have to be sure that we want to make sure this is happening. जैसे ही हम sure नहीं हैं, that is where the problems start. Mindful use of gadgets and meditation help. Again, as I said, as your child grows and as they become aware, their use of gadgets will become mindful. as something else becomes more important. Right now उनकी life में कुछ नहीं है जो इससे ज़्यादा important है. There is nothing that is driving them more than that. That is why they are mindlessly on it. Suppose you have an assignment, you have a deadline, you have a project, automatically you won't waste so much time. One. Does meditation help? Yes, because technology is only moving your mind at a very fast speed. It's getting faster day by day. But the mind works the best when it's slow and calm. The mind works the best when it is calm. That is why meditation counters the speed of the world by helping the child know that I can become calm and I can actually understand more. I can go deeper. जब आप फास्ट जाते हो ना तो ऊपर ऊपर से समझ आता है. But if you want to go deep into a subject, you have to go slow with it. So that is how meditation will help. Right? Okay, so I hope whoever needed to book their call, that is done. My team will reach out to you today or on Monday and we will get this sorted in case we need to, whatever time and all we need to figure out. Thank you so much for being here. Share this information with as many people as you can. It is very important for every parent today to know this. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you very, very soon with another interesting topic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Priyanka Tibrewal, for that incredibly insightful and thought provoking session. I'm sure all the parents and students here today have gained a deeper understanding of how social media affects our daily lives. Not just as a tool for connection, but also as something that can quietly shape our thoughts, emotions, and habits. Your practical strategies on setting healthy screen boundaries, encouraging mindful use, and nurturing real life connections will surely help families bring more balance and awareness into their digital routines. To all our parents and students who joined us today, thank you for taking the time to be a part of this meaningful discussion. Awareness is always the first step towards a positive change, and together we can ensure that technology remains a tool, not our trap. If you found today's session valuable, we encourage you to reflect on what you learned and start small. Maybe a family discussion tonight about screen time or a phone free meal together. Little steps can make a big difference. Stay connected with us for more such informative sessions. And remember, digital well being starts with mindful choices. Have a wonderful day ahead.